Hey you, so on this video, gold and silver stacking for beginners, gold or silver, which one? We're going to be discussing part two to continuation of the series that I'll be doing. And on this one, we're going to be discussing a very big question out there, and that's going to be gold or silver. Which one should you do? Which one do you prefer, or which one is best? So it's going to be gold or silver. Which one should you stack? So I'm going to go over personal experiences and the thoughts that I have on this. A few of the top main reasons that I've seen individuals would prefer one over the other, and just go into my final thoughts on that. So jumping straight into this, gold or silver, which one do you prefer? I'll go into a bit of how I personally went about this. Now, in the beginning, as I display these gold Britannias and silver Britannias, I personally got onto metals and went straight for gold. This is early 2000s. At the time, it was just something I knew that I wanted to put some money into. I'd done a bit of research, I'd read a book on it, and I automatically, instinctively went for gold. Gold was first pick, first choice, purely because I thought it was one, the only option, and two, the best option. So that could be options for many out there. You're going to have a bit of background noise again today. That could be one of the only thoughts or train of thoughts for individuals out there, depending on when you got into it and how you got into it. I wasn't into like YouTube and stuff then. I don't think it was available at the time, but at the time it was gold. Gold is king, and that was that from there. Now, I eventually, at a later date, when I first got back or came back into metals, then started communicating with dealers and hearing more stuff about and finding other outlets and avenues out there about the potential silver. Now, touching upon that, I would say three, for me personally, that I've seen of the biggest advocates for silver when it comes to pundits, I would say were in rank and order, anywhere from David Morgan to what's his name, Mike Maloney, and then you would say Chris Wayne. Between those three there, you would have heard big things regarding silver and the potentials of silver. Easily silver to $50,000. Silver's the best one, and then some may have been angrily screaming silver, silver, silver. I'll put it out there and say I do like all three of them. I think their work's fantastic. And in the end of the day, they're putting the information out there. If an individual decides and chooses to act upon it without doing their own due diligence, then they've only got themselves to blame. I don't watch them nowhere near as much as I did when I first got into stacking. Not because they're putting out bad material. I just feel like, they're beating on the same drum. And I've always said, for these individuals, a lot of the things they say, some people really go at their throats. It'd be a lot easier for them if they was to mention when the time comes, when they present out all this information. But as you do, you come along any one of those and many, many more, and then you get to find out the benefits of silver. Or you may have just known that from whatever profession you're in, that silver has many, many benefits. So I got into silver just after getting into gold. Now I'll touch upon a lot of the reasons and the top three reasons. But for me, when I did, and I purchased a load of foundation coins I've done videos on, I went in very heavy, and I was more stronger silver than when I first got back into doing precious metals, and just deciding to really stick with it and go full throttle. I said to myself, I'll get into this. I've seen the potentials. I knew a lot about gold already. I'd done a lot of research. Silver was totally new to me. Didn't know a lot about it. Did I feel like a crash was happening anytime soon? I would say 50-50. It was a situation of get as much as you can now while you can. The plus side from that is I got in at a, compared to now, fairly good price point on spot silver, but compared to many others that I've been in conversations with, it was nothing. I got in late 2014, so the spot price was rather favorable then. I still wish I could see it come back now, but I eventually went on to stack both. My models changed since I've been stacking. I do see the benefits in the both of them, but I'll touch upon now the top three reasons that I've personally seen people talk about and that are out there from what I've seen and heard people say. Now, getting into one of the top main reasons why individuals prefer gold over silver, I'd say reason number one would be gold is king. You'll hear individuals say gold is number one, gold is king. For me, it was my mindset also when I first got into metals. It's nations stack it, kings, wars, and bloody regimes have been conquered for it, and it's just number one. It's instinctively embedded in people's brains that gold is first. You get the gold for first place and silver is second. It's the one, so that's going to be number one of the biggest reasons as to why people prefer gold over silver, and that's going to be because gold is king. And that's it, full stop. If you want the best thing, then you're better off going for gold. Now, the second reason, one of the top main reasons out there, is going to be there's going to be a lot less big surprises when it comes to selling. Gold, even when you look at somewhere like the UK, which is ruthless when it comes to taxing, gold in the UK is tax-free. I'm not saying it's premium free, but it's tax-free. So that's saying a lot. So unless you're talking a big fancy collector piece, you can technically get gold at close to spot. You're looking anywhere from 2 to 3% above spot price. That's not going to be the case when you're looking at silver. So as I was mentioning in the first video, when you were talking the rude awakening come sell time, you really know what you're getting and getting back when it comes to gold. With gold, I would say this as well, whether you've got generic or scrap or whatever, gold is more favorable. You won't get a dealer frowning or maybe trying to shaft you over. Gold is gold in a dealer's eyes. He can always go on to resell that gold for the gold value at a fantastic price. So you don't really hear the same complaint when it comes to generic gold, whereas with silver, you'll hear people, more individuals, say I stay away from generic coins or bars when we're talking silver. But with gold, it's regardless really. It really holds somewhat of a real high position, whether it's generic, investment or collector. It's always holding a higher position. Yes, it does cost a lot more, but it's just also a mindset and what I've personally seen. And so you're going to get less big surprises when it comes time to liquidate, because you can get investment grade, generic, even under spot if you're lucky when it comes to gold, fractional or 1 ounce and above or in between. And come time to sell, you're looking anywhere from 1 to 3% above spot, and you can maybe get that back depending on the piece, or you'll get extremely close to that. Whereas with silver, with the high premiums you can pay for certain pieces, and just purely because for the sake of, you're in for a lot more surprises, especially if you veer out and go for more fancy collector snazzy pieces. So that would be reason number 2 as to why many prefer gold over silver. Now the third top big reason is going to be in comparison to silver, gold is extremely portable. Now I've owned and own a lot of silver, and anybody that does own a lot of silver would also agree. It's one of the main reasons many do exit silver as well, is because they look at it and basically tell you have the 10,000 in gold and 10,000 in silver. You're going to need an armored truck to move that silver about. For many that believe they're going to, put a backpack on and go out camping with the squirrels come a doomsday scenario, they want to be able to pick up and leave, and they want to also take their investment with them. And if you're looking at silver in comparison to gold, that's just not plausible the more you get. So gold is extremely portable in comparison to silver, and that's another thing many people like. You can store a lot of wealth in a little bit of space when we're talking gold. And if space is a thing for an individual, that reason alone could be a game over. You could store upwards of 100 grand easily concealed in plain sight when we're talking gold. It's not going to be the case with silver. So those are the top main 3 reasons individuals prefer gold over silver. Now touching upon silver, one of the top reasons is going to be it's a lot cheaper. So it appeals to many more straight off the bat. I'm focusing on gold and silver here, nothing below silver's. Talking in terms of ranking, it's always going to be gold first, silver second, and then bronze or iron or copper third, however you see it. But when we're talking silver, the price point in comparison is a lot better option. Silver's played a massive role in history as money, so those really need to be more educated on that to fully understand that, as we've got a lot more background noise, but it makes it more affordable and appealable to many people that are all silver believe gold is extremely overpriced. We've seen more of a better correction on the spot price on silver, and think in comparison to what gold has historically been price wise, it's currently overpriced. Whereas with silver, especially with the upsides, what I'll go into in a moment, silver is the better option. So getting into silver for many, which I would also agree with, the way I looked at it when I first picked up a bunch of silvers, I had a lot more to look with and play with when I put a lot more money into silver. Now, as time moves on, for individuals that really do go hard, it does build up real fast, and you get to see what you're working with. So that's going to be the number one reason as to why many do prefer silver. Gold, just because of the price, excludes many. If you're picking up fractional gold, 1 gram can seem extremely underwhelming, and in even smaller size, especially if someone's seen bigger. Whereas with silver, it's, you can pick up an ounce for damn near a fraction of the price of a fraction of a gold piece, and you're working with a lot more. So it's affordable and becomes more reachable to many, and that can work in the benefit of selling also. Now, the second big thing as to why many individuals prefer silver over gold, and I'll say this is the biggest one here, is the hidden potential on a price correction. Now, that was touching upon what I was just mentioning, is that silver has more upside potential, and everybody's going to tell you that, and a few things play into that also. Many have mentioned that silver has more industrial uses than gold or any other precious metals. I've never really looked into it. I know when in terms of looking into that, I know it's in a lot of things that people say it's in. Whether it can be replaced, I don't personally know. It's not something I extremely focus on. But with silver playing such a key role in industry, and a lot of things that it will also go on to need if we go on and do go all electric. I know fuel cells will be needing platinum, and silver can be playing a massive role. Many believe that it's extremely underpriced for what it is. Now, there are two ways to look at it. You can look at it like the big boys in charge, the big bad wolves, know and see that, but it doesn't work in their favor to have a precious metal at such a high price. So they don't need to play the game that they've created for us. I believe elites could make silver the most hottest commodity on the planet in under 24 hours with the outlets they have. That wouldn't be an issue, but it's something that they can't fully control, and it's in the people's hands. So silver has been referred to as the poor man's gold, touching upon the first one. So with that in mind, it's something where individuals believe it's not given the key position that it deserves, or not given the role that it deserves, and it's artificially being held down and suppressed. I believe that to a certain degree, but with that you get a strong belief that the upside potential when it all comes down is going to be more greater on silver. So the hidden potential and price correction, plus the means of it being able to retain your wealth, are reasons alone for individuals to get in this. For an individual with a maximum of £1,000 savings, putting it all in silver, and then should that day come along anytime soon, and then surprise, that £1,000 could multiply 100 times plus, is a fantastic investment. But whether we will see that massive correction is another thing to be said. But it's one of the main reasons a lot of people do favor silver over gold. They believe it's cheaper, and it has a lot more potential upside. Now, getting on to the next big reason as to why individuals favor silver over gold is because they believe it's rarer. Now, scooping onto the point I just mentioned, it being rarer makes it the more favorable over the two. Now, I personally don't believe that. I couldn't tell you the kind of numbers that are out there currently in, when you're comparing it to gold, rhodium, platinum, and the other metals, but there's talk out there that it's extremely limited in comparison to gold. It's being used up at a higher rate than any of the other metals, and we're close to extinction level on silver. I don't personally believe that. I think there are other options out there, but once again, it's just the games that they play. It's not being officially put out there like headline news. We've got this major commodity that helps life go through every day that's on the brink of extinction, but it's definitely something that an individual that's full silver only puts out there, and that is the most rarest precious metal out there that's, you know, highly used. And this is another reason why you should get into it, because we may see peak silver, and when that day comes, it's going to be a frenzy. Everybody and anybody screaming for the doors to try to get their hands on this here. It could be, I would never put out there and say it's an absolute, not anything is possible, but those are the main top reasons as to why individuals favor silver over gold. Now, touching upon my views on both of these when we're wrapping this up, I mean, with anything in life, it's always good to have a healthy balance. So, you know, with your diet or your vices, you want to have a healthy balance of either. The way I see it is, you can't go wrong stacking the both of them. The way I look at this is, I've been asked a good split between both. A good split between both would be 50-50. But then advice to an individual that favors one over the other is go for an 80-20. An 80-20. If you're all gold and you believe silver's for fools, it's way too heavy and, you know, it's the poor man's gold, go for 80% gold and then 20% silver. No harm's going to be done there. If you're all silver and believe gold is way overpriced and it just doesn't offer the opportunities that silver does, and come that time that nobody can put their finger on, we're going to see silver just, you know, run past gold and leave gold in the dust, and you're going to wish you had more silver. Go 80% silver and 20% gold. When you're talking 20% gold, you could go more heavily in fractions or just go 20% gold. I think that would be a best option for a non-believer, somebody that absolutely despises the other. This is just my own personal thought and opinion here. Once again, fantastic for anybody to put their thoughts and opinions on options for individuals out there, with your favouring one over the other, and a couple of opinions out there. So another thing I would say is, there's a ratio out there, a number that a lot of people focusing on, and that's going to be the gold silver ratio. 30 silver ounces will get you 1 ounce of gold, and that's when a lot of people will do that switch over to gold. So a lot of silver stackers are, you know, into gold. They don't despise it. They just want to get it when they feel like they can get more and get at a cheaper price point, and just work in the game to do the ultimate flip when the time comes. Now, I've put out there that I don't believe, should we see a frenzy or anything happen, that it's going to be as easy as 1, 2, 3. I even think that won't even be possible. You'll have dealers playing shady games. I've mentioned in the past that it's going to be the opportunity of a dealer's lifetime. If they ever wanted to shaft you, no time's going to be better than now and then. You may see dealers closing doors once that time comes. You may see dealers holding things back. Nothing's out the range, because currently they're doing everything and anything when it comes to shady tactics. So if you then get a situation where you believe you'll be able to trade 30 ounces of silver and get 1 ounce of gold, or, you know, you'll compensate a little, maybe put 33 ounces or 35 ounces, I think that is a situation you're banking on everything playing out the way you envision it in your head, and that can be dangerous. So this is why I believe it's always wise, you know, as in everything, diversify, to stack a little of both, and that goes back up on the 80-20 when you're talking splits. But I'm going to wrap this one up, but those are some of the reasons and things that people bring up to me normally, you know, which one do you favor, which is best, gold or silver. So that's just putting some price points out there, some thoughts out there, and my views on which one I think is good. You know, the one I see best is both of them. They both have their pluses and they both have their minuses, but both of them put together is the ultimate, and that is for right here, right now. If you're going to stack, I think it's always wise to stack the both of them. I mean, it can do no harm. You can only gain in the end of the day. So wrapping this one up, hate or love it, it'd be fantastic if individuals can put their thoughts and opinions in the comments on which one they believe is best for anybody getting into stacking, or anything they should know, any plus points on gold that they should know in the comments, any plus points on silver that they should know in the comments, or negatives on either one you have in the comments for anybody just getting into stacking. So hey or love it, guys. It'd be fantastic to know what you think of this video. Don't forget to come and follow me on the links that I've left in the description. Don't forget to come and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I'll catch you guys on the rebound.